our privileges, what we have, or we count our blessings. So as far as my personal opinion is concerned, yes, we should celebrate International Women's Day because I count it as a blessing that I am a woman. And I will start by saying that growing up in a Bengali, very conservative family, it was really not a good thing to be born in that family, in that sense that I was 8 plus 2, 10. I was the 11th daughter in that generation. Okay, so there were 3 brothers, 3 cousin brothers, and their families, just like the old Indian tradition, we were joint family. So in that one, next brother had only 2 daughters and 2 sons. And they sort of we spread out. It's a huge joint family, and originally we are from Bangladesh. So my family migrated around 1947, and then we stayed back in and around Kolkata. So of course, the way this family started educating their children, both the girls and the boys, they treated them equally. Actually, that is a tradition of Bengal that we have seen. Rabindranath Tagore was born in 1861, and even from that point, his eldest sister was a poet. She used to write poetry, and this tradition, it started spreading. It's not only with some elite families. Education has always been a part of our life in that part of the society. So that way we are privileged to be a part of a culture where women's education is a must. So even now when we have a newborn in the family, nobody really thinks about whether it's a boy or a girl, except for buying nice fancy frocks for the little girls and nice baba suits for the boys. But yes, the plans for education is the same. So that is the biggest achievement for the society that I would think that we have achieved. But this is not true for the entire society of our country. As Madam has correctly pointed out, that yes, in the books the rights are there, but we are very, very far from that equality that is written in our constitution, in the rule books and so on. And as I understand from my own experience, that is not possible to implement, as Madam has very correctly pointed out. And that is because the root of the difference is biological. When you are a teenage girl, there will be times when you won't be competing with the boys. Then there comes a time when you have to consider whether you want to be a part of a family life where you will be the children. We have family support in India to carry ourselves through as our in our role as a homemaker, mother, and wife. But we really are not prepared for that phase where we have to stop and ask ourselves, what have I done for myself? Now I'm going to share with you the story of 2 women who did their masters. The first lady is my mother, and the second lady is my mother-in-law. So my mother, she did her masters in philosophy with specialization in psychology in 1960 from Calcutta University. Then she joined a college as a professor. But it was a temporary position which she was going to get a permanent position if she continued. And of course she was 25 at that time, and everybody said you should get married. And she got married. She became the eldest bahu in a family of 40. Okay, and Then she decided, and my father, he also helped her, he also advised her that you must find out whether it is possible for you to continue your job while taking care of this huge family. And then she decided that, okay, given the circumstances, I will not continue my professional life. But since then, since 1962, when she got married, she has been a pillar of the family that we have. We are 3 daughters that she has. She made sure that us and helped us enormously when we became mothers, whenever we needed her. And believe me, now she's alone. My father has passed away about 19 years back. She is alone. And she's such a creative lady. She will always be doing something. She has been bedridden for the last 2 years. And I'm sure even my husband will tell you that even from her bed, she runs the house like a perfect machine. She knows how to do it. So that is her credibility. She has excelled in whatever she has done. She chose to run the family. My grandfather never called her as Bahu. He has always called her as Ma, because she has been the Ma of the family. So this is one life. But at some point, when she is 80 plus, there are times she tells us, you know, I have forgotten. I had 14 years of training in classical music. I used to read Indian philosophy. I used to do, so many, is actually a blessing that I had them as my role models when I started my own career. And of course, then I started doing things which are rather crazy. My grandmother never walked out without some escorts with her. Somebody has to be with her to ensure that she's safe, she's taken care of. So when my grandmother would say that I put a backpack on on myself and start for Bangalore, 48-hour journey by train, she initially used to cry and say, I'm really sorry, your father should have been there to take care of you, to take you all the way up to Bangalore, or at least you should have had a brother. So I used to console her saying that I'll be the brother to myself. So later on, as Madam has said, that behind every woman there is herself. So we had to learn how to defend ourselves, how to make sure that whenever we are walking the road, we are safe, and not only that, we keep others safe as well. So this is a general observation. Yes, there are 2 crazy things that I have done. So no wonder I inherit some traits from my mother as well as my Sasuma. When my daughter was 10 months old, I went for my first postdoc in USA. I took her along. So why did I do it? I mean, I'm actually quite a docile person. I wouldn't have thought of doing something so atrocious. But here is my husband. And it's not like that usual TV shows where I say, love you mom, type of thing. I'm just trying to tell you that he's the one who gave me the courage to do this extremely adventurous thing. He told me that NIH, the National Institutes of Health, this is the prime biomedical research institution in the world. And you have got a chance there. And these chances will not come your way every now and then. Why don't you do it? He even offered to take care of the 10-month-old child. But somehow, I just could not think of leaving my 10-month-old child back at home and go there. So despite 100 difficulties, I took her along. But as you know, as you say, somebody will say God's wishes. I will say Bhagwan. Somebody else will say Inshallah. I found an extended family over there. I had 3 families who stood as rock solid support with me. There is a dinner party with a Nobel laureate who's visiting the lab, but that is not the time when I will have the paid babysitting service that I use. My friends came, they spent the entire evening with my daughter in my home, my friend and his wife, and I could go to the this dream meeting with the Nobel laureate in my field. Having this practice of education, and we are going to help each other to be in that profession so that we can live the life to our fullest. And now there is one thing that, so a recent survey says that when it comes to undergraduate or even master's education, girls are in number 50% or more. But when it comes to research, especially in chemistry, the number is still 48 to 50%. But now, if you look at what is happening at the level of, let's say, education, which is considered to be a safe and acceptable profession in the society for women, at the highest level like IISc, IITs, etc., less than 10% are women. So the question is why? And recently Royal Society of Chemistry, they have been trying to probe this. So obviously the first factor that came up was it's biological. If your family or you decide that you want to be an independent woman all throughout your life, that is one thing, that is rare. But if you have that choice, if you have that independence, then probably you will be having a life which is very similar to what a man's life would be in the same profession. But if it so happens, like me, at a very early age, I realized that I probably would not flourish unless I have a family. I just love children. So I knew that I have to have a family to have a full life. So in that case comes this problem, which is absolutely biological, that our human body requires us to to start our family by a certain age. Now, if you look at the kind of long stretched educational career that we have, BSc, MSc, PhD. I did my PhD in 3 years, very fast. But it's not always possible. One even can take 5 to 6 years. It's very common in chemistry to have 5 to 6 years in PhD. Then to have a reasonable job, you probably will have to go to a postdoc. But by the time you finish postdoc, you are 30, 32. So biologically speaking, that is stretching your biological ability to become a mother quite far. Yes, with the advancement of biological science, medical science, especially focusing on women's health, that is possible. But that may not be accessible to everybody. So here comes the major conflict, that how do I divide my time between my own professional goals and one thing that cannot be compromised, your child's care. But home is where you always come back. So that should be a place where you have peace, and you should not do anything where the peace is getting disturbed.
How is Kashmir? No. How is Kashmir now you feel?
I'm absolutely relaxed.
Dismissation.
And so when you are at my age, you won't probably, the young girls will probably not realize this, but this balancing of so many roles in your life will take a huge toll on your health. So even from now, you are beautiful. I just can look at all the fresh, beautiful faces in front of me. But I will tell you that you have to take care of yourself. You have to have a good health. Okay? This is what is going to sustain you through the long years where you will be balancing so many roles. And at my age, when you start feeling those pangs of pain in your knees or your back, and you know that the age is catching on with you, I'm thankful that I've been mobile for so many days. But you have to exercise regularly. because it is now a known fact that this added stress and burden and the personal requirement of giving your best to anything that you do, it takes a huge toll on women's health. So do not compromise on your health. Even if it is 5 minutes per day, please devote it to yourself. It can even be exercising, going for a walk, taking in fresh air, meditation. It has to be your choice. Even going to the beauty parlor and getting a facial is a part of that relaxation process. Do it to yourself, because you are important, we are important, and next time when you celebrate the Women's Day, please bring your spouse and your children so that we all feel complete, because we are because of what we are as a part of the society. Okay? Thank you.